Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world not famous three-man podcast.
Hey.
And feel
The power!
Sure. I
Not
feel like
the
that's
power.
gimmick infringement, but like, yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen,
gimmick
to
infringement.
the Vacant Wrestling Podcast, as chaotic and unhinged as ever. My
Shout out
name...
DJ Chaotic.
Wow. My name is Tyler, and joining me today are my two unhinged, chaotic human beings of friends. First up, with a hood on, covering his eyeballs, if you can see it on YouTube, your boy Emil. What's up, Emil?
I am the arrow.
And also in a hoodie with the hood up, but this time rocking a Bullet Club whoop whoop hoodie.
Do they still exist?
No.
My bad.
But shh.
Are they fine this week? The world may never know. But for now, it is certain that this week we have Yusuf on the pod. Yusuf, what's up, man?
What up, what up, what up? I'm back. We got stuff to talk about. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So, first thing we want to talk about, actually, I thought Emil was already going to take the spotlight by now. But this man was very passionate about leading this part of the show. Because we had an AEW show last night.
We did indeed. I didn't watch it though, so this is so.
He insisted he leads.
I'm gonna be honest. I had a gig, so shit happens, and so but there was an AEW show. There's too many AEW shows in September. It's fine though. It's the all out, all in, back-to-back week.
Why?
Bullshit.
It's the extravaganza.
It's the extravaganza that is the I'm all AEW week. 2 weeks.
I don't know why September is such a big thing for them. They love the month of September. I know it's always been that way too, because this was around the time when the initial All In was too.
I mean, which is nice. It's nice to have another big couple weeks in wrestling and when WWE is at the September mark, that is I mean,
When
Triple
they're
H
taking a
involved.
breather,
that this is supposed to be though, where they kind of fall off for a little bit.
Yeah,
it's not the same now that you know who isn't here, but September isn't their month.
Who?
But it is AEW's month.
You mean Odyssey Jones? Who?
The
Who?
guy who has a documentary coming out in a couple weeks. Hold on. I want to take a detour from the detour.
Oh man.
Okay.
September 25th is going to be a crazy fucking day in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What a day in wrestling this is going to be.
Absolutely.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, you didn't find this podcast, but everybody knows that there is a fucking there's a doc, and it's scathing apparently.
Apparently, it's pissing off
wrestlers are
WWE
mad.
officials. Yeah,
Oh, is it
WWE
really?
officials are pissed.
This is the double golden shovel. We ain't
Yes.
never seen this before.
Literally, the
Yeah.
double shovel is what the double
Hulk
shovel
Hogan
burial.
couldn't do this shit.
Nah.
Nah.
Vince
And
has a doc-
they talk about Benoit too. They talk about everything.
That is crazy.
So something I don't know is it episodic?
I
Yes,
think so.
I believe
Is
it's
it a series?
6-part
Is
documentary.
it 5 or 6 parts, something like that, right?
Six.
And at probably an hour apiece, so 6 hours of digging into one of the weirdest, craziest son of a bitches in pro wrestling,
Yeah.
Vince McMahon. I'm actually super excited for this doc.
Same.
I'm
Yeah.
super excited to I'm glad that they didn't. The initial plan I think was a fluff piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I heard too.
So it's very nice that they're really going balls to the wall.
Yep.
I know people in the company there's tons of people still in the company who have ties to Vince McMahon. It's not a Triple H WWE. While it isn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting that people aren't happy with that. I mean, the guy's done some wild shit. But
Yeah.
everybody has their opinions, and that's fine.
I'm gonna be really interested by this docuseries coming out, because we had the biography of Vince McMahon come out a few years ago. That book, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but apparently it was a really good read. But that was more of an insight into Vince's life, having bought the company from his father and how he grew up into the wrestling business and everything like that. So this docuseries is, I think, going to be what everyone expected that book to be, in that this is going to be a proper inside look of how Vince has been running things, or was running things, the just malarkey, if you will. I can't think of a fucking better word right now. And I didn't know how in depth this was gonna get with the docuseries. I thought it was gonna be just a few things talking about Vince here and there, blah 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 blah. But when I saw that trailer, and the guys can understand this in our group chat, I saw Chris Benoit in that trailer, and I'm like, this is gonna be the greatest thing to ever happen.
You think it has to be like one part per scandal, right?
Oh yeah.
Like Vince has to have enough scandals to cover
Well,
6 parts.
then what would we have? We have
he has enough
there's-
to cover.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. That's not even enough to
there's
cover, like,
23
there's-
episodes.
quarter of it.
You could start with like how he bought his father's company and like tried to monopolize the wrestling business
That's a
and how
scandal.
that's a
Yeah.
scandal in itself.
The
You could
takeover
talk-
of the territories is a
You
big
could talk about
thing.
the steroid scandal.
Yeah.
You could
Steroids.
talk about Benoit and like
Benoit,
CTE and all of that. You
Owen
can talk
Hart.
about
Owen
Owen
Hart.
Hart.
Scandal.
Is a scandal.
Yeah.
Owen
the
Hart.
Montreal Screwjob is a scandal.
Montreal Screwjob could be a scandal. You could
Yeah.
talk about, and then obviously the new stuff with Janelle Grant and everything. Like that's
Yeah.
all. This
That,
is all
the-
stuff that is
being
like
the father of Steph's kid. That was.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that one.
That's one.
Yeah,
that's,
there's
that was
definitely
an
a lot of-
option.
hating the idea of sneezing. I could see
Yeah.
that one being a thing as well.
Having the Tyrannosaurus skull in his office.
yeah.
He's
the
a
weird things
He's
about-
a weird man. That book was
He
called
is.
Ringmaster.
Oh,
by the way.
the, uh,
Yes,
Ringmaster.
Ringmaster.
Vince McMahon and the Unmaking of America.
There it is.
In lieu of what I said about the hatred of sneezing, wrong answers only. Give me some documentary ideas for this. Other than that, I got one too. Wanting to date his daughter on TV. Anyone else?
The Katie Vick story.
Yep.
That's a scandal.
Yep.
Katie Vick one's the big one.
Kane electrocuting balls.
Kane
Anyone
electrocuting
remember that
balls,
one?
blowing himself up in his limo.
Yep.
That one?
That was on the trailer. That was in
Yeah.
the trailer. Yep. They did show that.
Well, that one they're gonna have to talk about because
Yeah.
Because that goes
They-
into name redacted.
that
man.
goes into the
It does.
whole, yeah, it does. So, yeah, that documentary is gonna be fun to watch. I'm excited.
Uh-huh.
Very-
We'll probably talk about it
Very-
when
I
it
would
comes
actually-
out.
Very
the
curious.
gears are
I would
turning-
do a watch party with that.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say the gears are turning. We could always record a reaction podcast, like a watch along podcast. We could record a reaction podcast, like result review, whatever podcast.
Yeah, something like
We'll
that.
see what happens. And we might make a bonus episode out of that.
Exactly. You never know.
That's
Anyway,
so
back
many
to
bonus
back to the
episodes.
other company.
So-
Right.
So on the other side of bad businessmen, we have Tony Khan and his wonderful company.
That was great.
Actually, he's a great businessman. He's not a great wrestling
though?
boss. He
Is he
is.
though?
He is. Because the fact that this company can still strive and still have a national major TV deal is insane.
Oh, that's
That is actually-
considering they
Dad,
can
more
only
money,
fill
please.
only
Well,
well,
it helps.
details.
It helps when you're
but
details,
the fact
details.
that they can do all that while only filling about a quarter of an arena is pretty impressive. MJF defeated Daniel Garcia. We all knew it, right? We all knew that was going to happen. Those
I
of
was
you who
hoping that
watched-
Daniel Garcia would get the win, but obviously after MJF took that big L at All In, like he had to get the win back. He had to get the heat back after losing to Ospreay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was
I was reading up. Apparently, that's to MJF gets the win, but then Garcia hits him with an avalanche pile driver, and that's to apparently write MJ off for some time because he's going to go film a movie.
Again?
Again?
He's off TV again?
We just did this.
I know. He just got back.
He
Like,
literally
dude,
just got
come
back
on.
just for the Ospreay match.
The summer of MJF.
MJF's like, nah, I'm a part-time guy now.
Yeah, but no,
MJF on that Roman schedule.
he apparently is about to take a little bit of time, not too long, but like just take some time off to go film a movie. So I'm like,
Movies are
okay,
cool.
so the last like few months was for what at this point?
Movies are quick though. Like when
Yeah,
Dean Ambrose went away
true.
for a couple weeks and
Who?
did
Who?
my bad. Well, no, I was right. That guy's
You were
Dean
right.
Ambrose. That guy was
Oh,
Dean
yeah.
Ambrose.
Yeah,
Who?
that's true.
He
That
left.
was Dean
He left
Ambrose.
for like
The joke
he left
is
for
the
like
name.
4 weeks.
Yes.
He left for like 4 weeks to go do a movie and then
Yeah,
came
so
back.
wasn't that-
Pretty
Miz,
much.
It-
Miz
yeah.
does it often. Batista
yeah,
used to do it
MJF
every once in a
also
while.
does it pretty often.
It does
so.
pretty often. MJF gets the win. I don't know what exactly this does for Daniel Garcia anymore. Apparently, he's still unsigned with AEW.
As are half of their roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's
True.
cool.
I think Garcia still is going to get his due. I think they know that they need to push this guy now or they're going to lose the opportunity to do so.
Maybe throw him in the Continental area because
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
personally see Ospreay losing this belt anytime soon.
Or
and
Perry.
I don't really
Oh.
see Ospreay losing this belt to Daniel Garcia.
I could see potential Garcia Perry feud.
That could be fun.
That could be fun.
Let's kind of keep this pushing.
Let's do it.
Let's kind of go rapid fire here. We have the tag titles. The Bucks still have belts, which I kind of thought they were losing at All In. So now they still have them at All Out. So why
Yep.
are we here? Why did the Elite win?
They may drop the belts to Grizzled Young Vets because
Why?
Grizzled Young Vets came out after that triple threat at All In and like surprised them and called them out.
The real question is why are the Bucks still title holders? I thought the whole point of this whole weird takeover thing was to like build some faces out of it. The
Right.
Acclaimed are-
But for
where are
some
the
reason,
Acclaimed?
they're
I guess we're still
yeah.
waiting on it. I think we're waiting because I think we might get a big feud between the Elite and whatever shit Moxley's cooking up, which we'll talk about in a little while.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
But Claudio and Yuta also went into this match as trios champions as well.
Yeah.
So they could have been a little spicy and gave them some double tag title love, but unfortunately not.
ECC would have had all the belts.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
the
that
tag
point
belts.
almost.
I think the
Yeah.
thing is with
And the world
still
title,
holding
yeah.
the titles is we're getting to a point where I feel like to pull the trigger on all of the elite losing the belts should have happened at All In, right? Probably should have, but because it was delayed with Jack Perry getting the TNT title, I think they want to push that back a little bit. I think maybe this is my thinking because I feel like they're doing exactly what TNA did with the Main Event Mafia all those years ago. They're going to have one night where all of them lose the belts.
I could see it being at like a Revolution or something. I could see it being early next year.
They're
going to
do it in one sweep. That or they do it progressively, but I don't... It's kind of confusing now which way they're going.
Maybe, what's Wrestle Dream later on this year? Isn't Wrestle Dream later
Wrestle
in the
Dream
year?
is later this year, yeah.
Yeah, could do it then.
Yeah.
Who knows? The next
Ospreay
match,
beating
though.
Pac.
That match apparently fucking cooked.
Apparently
I didn't
that
watch
match
it.
cooked
I did not
hard.
watch it.
However,
Oh.
the answer is kind of the result is what we. Who cares?
Exactly what we
Ospreay
expected.
wins, LOL, yeah.
Also, Pac going in also as a trios champion.
Yep.
And they wrestled back to back, BCC guys.
They did.
A street fight with Statlander and Nightingale. I have no stakes in this
So
match.
it's interesting because Nightingale and along with Ishii won a mixed tag against Statlander and Stokely.
Stokely
on
Hathaway,
the on the All In pre-show. The winning team was going to pick the stipulation for this match. Nightingale won, picked the stipulation, and then got her ass beat, which makes sense.
It
wrestling
makes sense. Like I watched the highlights of the match after the fact, and man, someone brought up last night that All Out was like the violent twin brother of All In, and this was the beginning of it. Like that's a street fight. Like there was a good chain crossface spot, a lot of blood for a women's match. Like this would probably be a question for another time on the podcast because I know we want to rush through this, but like the topic of do we want women's matches getting more violent like that in like WWE, for example, right? The answer is probably yes.
If the men can get just as violent, then yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
It all depends on that Netflix deal.
No,
Depends on
It
that
does.
Netflix deal.
that's not a Netflix deal. True. So yeah, Statlander wins. It was a fun match. There was a wild spot where Statlander has Willow set up for her scissor kick, and Willow like pushes out of the way, and Statlander lands doing the splits, and that looked kind of painful, which was kind of cool. But yeah, fun match overall.
Okada wins. LOL.
LOL.
My brother Lance will be very upset because two of his guys both lost in this match, those being Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed.
Happens.
But also, Konosuke Takeshita also lost. I think they're building, and I know you said maybe having what's his face Garcia go after the Continental Belt. I think they might run Okada Takeshita because
I
they
think they're
were
gonna do
really
it.
hamming up the stare down that the two of those guys had in this matchup, and I think that Takeshita really deserves a rub of getting to beat Okada, and I think that's a good next step.
Takeshita is definitely one of those guys who like coming from DDT. He's one of the better wrestlers to have come out of there, and immediately going to America, making a name for himself. And he looked pretty good the first chunk of his run in AEW, and then he had a weird little like slump or just wasn't being used. And now that he had his G1 run, he's back. Yeah, I think the best thing to do is you have him go on a pretty decent run through one of the biggest tournaments in the world. Why not have him go against the biggest talent from that company? Right? Like an Okada Takeshita thing is inevitable. Whether or not Okada drops that title to him, I don't know. The other thing too is, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, Okada has yet to wrestle a singles pay-per-view match since coming to AEW.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even
weird.
I didn't think about it till you said it in the chat last night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I think eventually, they're trying to save those singles matches for Okada for like big Forbidden Door fantasy matches, for Supercard matches, which I'm surprised they didn't have him wrestle anybody on All In. The fact that he was just in the Casino Gauntlet was pretty head scratching to me.
Well, yeah, All In was weird, and like because apparently they were hoping again. I think I brought this up numerous times throughout like various episodes of the podcast, but AEW has a plan that involves Kenny Omega being healthy. The problem is Kenny Omega constantly delaying him being healthy and being cleared to wrestle pushes back a lot of those plans. And AEW is still kind of hell-bent on doing some of those. One of them, I don't know if this is true or not, if this was 100%. They wanted to do Omega Okada 5 at All In. But because they didn't have anyone big enough of a name, well, that wasn't busy that night, to wrestle Okada at All In, they put him in the gauntlet match.
So basically, Okada is in a holding pattern because Omega's got tummy issues. Now that's totally a joke.
Yeah.
Omega's going through
He's going through a lot,
and that is
yeah.
really awful. That is mostly for the meme. But yeah, that stinks. I mean, I don't know why we have to wait for that. I think we can just, at this point, we know that Omega's going to be out for a undisclosed amount of time. Even he doesn't know how long it's going to be until he's better. I think we just need to move on, and we'll get to Omega Okada sometime. Just have Okada do something with that fucking belt, because this belt, since Eddie lost the belt, it has, as great as it is to see Okada with it, it's been a meh title run for Okada with this belt, in my opinion.
So, all I know with the
meh.
belt is, yeah, speaking of meh, just to finish this point off, they are running another Continental Classic tournament, and that is, I believe, in December?
Oh, I
So-
thought it was way sooner than that, the way you just said that.
I know, right? Yeah, but no, apparently it's like November, like late November, December, something like that. So expect Okada to be involved in that. He'll have a lot of singles matches there.
And would he be defending the title in that tournament again, like Kingston did, or
That
would
is
he
a
just,
great question.
or would it just be a number one contenders tournament at that point? You know?
No idea.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Details are scarce.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
What's next?
Mercedes, yawn, win,
Eh.
yawn.
This
Who
match was
cares?
better than the Brit match. I will say that. I did. This is where I started to tune in.
It was
during
but
this.
I'm just so bored of Mercedes Monet.
You and the rest of us.
Yeah,
Danielson beating Perry, also kind of duh.
No, this match was pretty good though. This
It
match
was fun.
This match
Yeah.
was good. Perry
this-
is quickly becoming one of my favorites, and it's crazy to say that. I love the character work. I love the fact that there's real life heat that goes into the character work. I like the reaction he gets. I like the fact that people are cheering CM Punk in AEW. Maybe because I'm a WWE shill, but I think it's kind of funny. And
Oh, it's
like,
hilarious.
yeah, and
honestly.
they're giving Perry like look at where this man was before CM Punk, before he got the Punk rub. Literally. Before he got the CM Punk rub, this man was in a comedy tag team with a guy with a lucha mask. Like, playing a dinosaur. And now he is arguably the highest of the three mid-card champion. He's the best of the three mid-card champions right now. He's got his own custom belt that looks fucking sick. He's in the top heel faction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and he's in the semi-main event, and he's getting a world title match against Danielson, which is pretty crazy. Good for him, man.
So the story though is what happened after the match, and my dumbass really didn't understand what was happening.
That was
so my
crazy.
dumbass
That
really
was
didn't understand what
wild.
was going on, because I thought first off this was Collision that Tyler was talking about, and I
Nah.
went, huh?
No,
No.
Then I don't know how they didn't. At first, I didn't understand how this show didn't end on this spot, because this is a crazy spot.
Agreed.
Right? So the BCC comes out and they drop Danielson like a sack of potatoes.
Well, first they protected Danielson because the elite started to come, or no, I'm sorry, the patriarchy started to
patriarchy.
come out
Yeah.
to allow Christian to cash in his Casino Gauntlet title shot, which is basically like the Money in the Bank equivalent. Like, you can come out anytime and cash it in. So he was about to come out. BCC come out through the crowd to block them off, to come into the ring. They leave. They take Perry with them, and then all of a sudden, like Claudio just nails. I think it was
Claudio has his hand raised
Danielson.
up in like celebration, and then hits him with a European uppercut.
Yeah, and then it
And he
ends up
sits
being
there like, whoa.
And then
Yeah.
it's interesting how they play it off, because they turn on Danielson, and Yuta is trying to help Danielson, but they're holding back Yuta. So it's clear that they're kicking out not only Danielson, but also Wheeler Yuta, unless they keep Wheeler Yuta in there and they keep him in the story where he's like, he doesn't want to be there, but he's intimidated into being there. Well, that could be kind of an interesting dynamic. But if they don't do that, the group right now will be Claudio Castagnoli, it will be John Moxley, it will be Pac, and it will
Marina
be
Shafir.
Marina Shafir. Thank you.
So here's where shit got violent, and this is where kind of the whole show got violent and uncomfortable to
Yep.
watch. This bag spot is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how you gimmick that. I know how I kind of can figure out how you can gimmick a chair. I can figure out how you can gimmick a kendo stick. I can figure out how you gimmick the explosives, glass, a table, ladders. I got it. I'm rolling. I've watched for 20 years. I know what's going on.
Yep.
Wow.
This I can't figure out.
You
No.
could see the air.
This I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, it's not like there's
compressing
a
and
hole
expanding
somewhere
the
in
bag.
there.
Figure out.
Like,
I don't know how they did this without killing him.
Yeah.
Good job.
So
And Brian's crazy as fuck for taking that.
So Mox wraps a clear plastic bag around the neck and throat of Danielson. I was gonna say Brian, and chokes him out, suffocates him, with the crowd chanting, "That is murder! This is murder!"
We didn't get much better as the show went on.
no, it really did not.
No.
So my dumbass, again, realizing that there's a bag spot that we're doing here, I'm like, oh, like this, like Tyler told me this. I'm like, oh, that must be the end of the show, right? And then he's still texting me about this next match, Hangman and Swerve in a steel cage, and I'm like, what the fuck? How do you not end on a bag choking spot? That's murder.
And the answer is because
The
this
answer
match
is
was
more murder.
This match was an unsanctioned, lights out steel cage match. So
The lights are still on. I can still see. I
True.
can see the match.
Well, lights out because the way that they handled it was this next match is unsanctioned. This is not AEW is not responsible for anything that happens in this match. Once the lights turn off and back on, lights out. It is no longer AEW's show officially. And so they turned the lights off, lowered the cage, turned the lights back on, and boom.
The fun part is they started killing each other before the cage even lowered.
Yes,
I hate
they did.
unsanctioned matches. Such a dumb concept.
I know, right?
But-
It's okay.
But
I
this
actually like
shit
the
got
way
crazy.
I like the way AEW handles unsanctioned matches as opposed to WWE. Because NXT when they would do unsanctioned matches, it was basically just another match.
It's just a no
more
DQ
violent
match
than
with
normal.
like a little more violent. Yeah,
right. But
that's all it
AEW
was.
was actually like, listen, we ain't responsible for anything that's about to happen in this matchup. Like it ain't us.
I'm gonna be honest. Keep it a stack. Could have done without that needle spot. Could have done without the needles.
yeah,
Could have done
that
without the
was-
needle. But
Yeah.
that's me and my fear and hatred of needles. So I get it.
It's
but
not that.
that was
Ugh. My
that
cheek
was
doesn't.
rough.
I was rubbing my cheek all night after watching that spot. Like
So
that was.
I was watching it on my phone and I legit covered it. I was like, I can't look
Yeah.
at that one.
I was
Yeah,
like
it-
I was like gaming at the same time on
Yeah.
one monitor as the other monitor had the show, and I literally was like watching this, and I had to just like not watch. Like I
Yeah,
had to watch
had
from
to-
like it being in the corner of my eye, but
And-
not actually watch it.
AEW's pushing their luck, man. This whole summer they've been really pushing their luck. There's been some things that we look at and go, ooh, that's rough.
I mean,
and it started with Jack Perry burning himself.
I will say though, there is an appetite for it. It might
There
not
is.
be us.
Yeah.
It might not be us. So I'm just trying to go in it with, this is a professional company. If they want to go in and be that violent, fine. Would I personally do that? No. Would that be my preferred method of delivery when it comes to my pro wrestling? Not at all. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to that. But AEW might make me more used to that. But I would like to say no. But it made Hangman, after all of the L's he took in this feud, because obviously they needed Swerve to be built up if they wanted to put the title on him. For Hangman to finally get the win back in this way was crazy. And not only the needle spot, but that chair spot that knocked out Swerve. That was a straight up chair shot to the head. Like there was no cutting. There was no faking.
there's no.
that.
You can't
There's
gimmick
no
that. Yeah.
no, not at all. And like literally, oh my god, dude, the snap sound that chair made, and the fact that the top of the backrest on the chair like snapped off the base of it. Oh my god, dude, that was not a light chair shot in any way, shape, or form directly to his head. That is where I'm like, oh, needle, sure. You know what? You can stab yourself. Wrestlers were gigging for the entire, that's been a thing in
Yeah,
wrestling. But like, a chair shot to the head is, I don't know if I can get behind that.
The chair shot.
I mean, it's gimmicked.
it just. I don't know.
I don't know if it
There's,
was gimmicked. I don't know. That was just,
There's a
bam!
video going around Twitter right now of a fan's capture of that chair shot moment, and like, that's a loud chair shot.
There's
I
no,
don't
like I said, there was
know.
no way to
Yeah.
fake that. There was no way to fake that. He had to just actually take the bump.
Yeah, plus like there was that. The needle spot was the cinder block spots were wild. Swerve hitting Hangman with a vertebreaker on the cinder block. Hangman lands on just below
oh
his
my
neck
God.
and his upper back,
Oh,
and then
the cinder
Hangman
block
hits
spots.
Swerve with a power bomb and just like, oh,
Yo,
God.
the way that Hangman's back looked after the vertebreaker on that too, and then the way that, oh my god, the way the power bomb he landed on that. Oh, if that were
AEW
Danielson, though, if that were Danielson taking that bump, he would have been twitching in the ring and convulsing.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah. But like that,
oh my god,
yeah.
dude.
The
It's been a strength for AEW on these like they're pushing what American television can show on a national stage.
Yeah.
You got to give them credit for that. Like this
Yeah.
is we're getting into deathmatch stuff.
well,
like
they haven't
Yeah, we
gone
are.
like full WCW yet, where someone pulls out a taser and like electrocutes someone. So we're
I mean, did
getting
WCW
there. but
do a needle spot?
I don't think they ever did.
Is
Yeah, no.
WCW doing hanging spots?
Yeah, it's true.
Also, the spot where also Hangman just Hangman
This
just
ain't WCW.
Yeah, I know.
also Hangman just yanking his grill right out of his mouth. That was pretty gnarly. Yanked
Yeah,
the whole
they,
grill right off his teeth. Oh,
They really took all the liberties they could with this match, and
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, there has to be a limit, and I think this was it. Because I assume that this is where the feud ends.
I don't agree with
Well,
that.
at least for Hangman and Swerve, at least. I think they're going to up it somehow. I don't know how, but
I
I'm
think
so
they
afraid.
can get more violent. I think they're finding it though. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna find it. I think
I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
find it by
Well, like,
December.
well,
That's right.
I
Like-
think that
like
this
you were
feud might
saying.
be over. I think this feud
No,
might
the
be
feud
over.
is definitely over, but I think Tim's got a point of just like how much more violent can AEW as a company get, and like he's got a point earlier with they lit Jack Perry on fire, they hung Darby from the top by his leg,
By his ankle.
right? Yeah, by
Like,
his ankle.
we're-
Like
They're,
how
they're
much?
gonna find it. They're gonna
Yeah.
find it. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen soon.
Like, they're
if
gonna
they
find
keep moving
something-
at this rate. It's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
like I remember.
Or something really catastrophic is gonna happen. and
Honestly, this is
Yeah.
as
It's
gonna get
violent
bad.
as this is like the type of violence I expected from BCC,
mhm.
especially with Mox in it.
Yeah,
Especially
Yeah.
with Mox in it, like I don't know, man. And man, that's probably the only way I could see that level of violence coming back anytime soon. Because I don't see a feud right now that's like that is an absolute blood feud the way Hangman and Swerve was.
I mean,
My thing is Hangman needs to go after Danielson now.
yeah.
Like after beating Swerve, yes, it's unsanctioned, which means the loss doesn't count on Swerve's record, which is great because that means theoretically he could still challenge for the world title if he wanted to and get his rematch against Danielson. But Hangman now absolutely deserves a world title match, and I personally would argue he should win it, but I don't think he will.
I think
But-
Hangman Adam Page coming
Nah.
back with all the momentum he's had
not happening.
should be in the world title picture again. Does he win? I'm also on the side of no.
It just
because I think
sucks,
you
man. Pull
Yeah,
the
I
trigger
know.
on this guy. Like,
They
Jesus
did, and then
Christ.
for
They
some
did.
reason they were
And then he
like,
went into
"Hey,
business for
punk."
himself.
Yeah,
Well,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah, I ain't getting involved in that anymore.
Allegedly.
I've learned with all this wrestling beef to not pick a side.
So
Oh yeah,
Just don't be toxic about it.
AEW out with the old such as Daniel Bryan and all of that. Let's talk about the new on Raw. Raw has a
Yo.
new commentator.
yeah,
Yeah. Joe Tessitore made
From
his
what
debut.
I heard of him, I like him.
I
I
like
don't
him.
hate him.
Yeah, he's good.
There
He's
were-
good.
Let
there
it
were-
sit. Let it sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, here's the thing: when you come in from the world of sports generally and real sports,
It's hard.
and like other sports, it is very hard. It's a very different. It's a different dynamic and a different type of personality you have to be. You have to be way more of a character on WWE television rather than in sports. A lot of times the difference, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts that have been dissecting Joe Tessitore's performance, and other, wrestling, just media in general. The way that they describe it is really well. Like Tessitore is very much a traditional sports commentator. He doesn't let his personality get in the way of what's happening on the screen. But that's just not how wrestling is right now. That's not how wrestling commentary is. Wrestling commentary, you need to have a strong personality, and those personalities are the reacting perspective of the fans. Kind of like how Pat McAfee was just an average guy. Like he feels like just everyone's one of us. When he reacts, he's reacting from the eyes of the fans, the perspective of the fans. Michael Cole, the way he reacts, the way he gets expressive with his cadence and his natural forte with his voice when something big happens, like that's how we react, right? And I think Tessitore needs to kind of match that energy more. I will say there were a couple awkward moments. Ilya hit a torpedo Moscow and just goes, "Oh," and a big shoulder, and that was his literal finishing move that got him the win.
So I want to give I give him a bit of a break for that because he's just getting into it. There's no
Yes.
way he was like all ready to go. Like that's so much information you got to have on day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
he's
know?
a fan, and he couldn't call. I couldn't call
Yeah,
all the finishers. So
Right.
like,
No,
it's
agreed.
fine.
I think
fine.
part of it too was the way the situation in which he got paired with Wade Barrett. And I'm not saying Wade Barrett's a
That was
bad
weird.
commentator.
That was
It's a weird
choice.
combo,
It's also
yeah.
It is a
a
weird
strange
choice.
choice considering I believe there's season premieres coming up.
So
Yep.
here's
So
why.
like that was a weird choice because they're either gonna go right back or by the time January happens, both of these guys aren't gonna be on Raw anyway. So I thought it was a very strange move.
So here's
'Cause
what's
we know
happened.
Michael Cole and Pat are coming back on Netflix.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's
Correct.
no reason not to.
And
That's-
if it's not Pat, then it's Graves with Cole.
It
With Cole.
has to be
So
Pat.
this is
There's
why
no way.
they're doing it because right now because of the Fox deal, and because of the USA deal, basically just evening the playing field between Raw and SmackDown. The bigger show is obviously going to be SmackDown out of the two. However, once January rolls, so that's why you have Cole and Graves on the bigger show for now, which is SmackDown. And because when you had Pat, it was a different dynamic because you could make Corey Graves the play-by-play guy and make him the big play-by-play with Wade on SmackDown, and it felt organic and natural, and it felt right. But with Cole and Pat could be on Raw. And it was kind of like they kind of were on even playing fields. I think Corey and Wade were a very surprisingly great commentary duo. I loved their work. And same with, and obviously Cole and Pat, we know they can do great work. So you couldn't have gone wrong where they each went. It was probably just a pick 'em of who fits better, and the energy of Raw fit Pat McAfee better. But when it comes to this new era where McAfee's out and Tessitore is in, they needed to kind of figure it out. Cole is obviously going to go wherever the bigger show is, wherever the stakes are higher, and that would be SmackDown, right? Fox deal, going into the USA deal, and then you give Tessitore some reps on Raw. He has more time to get the reps in because it's a 3-hour show. And then when Raw moves to Netflix, that's obviously going to be the A show again. So you got to have Cole there. And then you have Cole and Graves, maybe Cole and Pat, if Pat is available come January. He probably will be, actually, because football is kind of winding down at that point. Like, not winding down, but, we've well into the season. We're a month
college is mostly done.
College is mostly done. Exactly. Thank you. As someone who doesn't know football, like, at all, being me. Yeah, so that would be the time where you switch back. I think that's a no-brainer. So yeah, I agree. They're gonna switch back, but Tessitore I give a solid B for his first night. He had some really good moments. He needs to pull the microphone on the headset a little closer. There were times where it sounded like the microphone was a little far away. His voice was a little thin, and the EQ wise, it felt a little thin. Need more body to it. But that's a production note. They can tell him that.
Not the musician.
Hey,
Telling
man,
him, roll back that low filter, bro.
I just had to
my
say,
God.
man. I just had to say, man. I think it's because he had the mic far away. Because when there are moments where the mic was probably closer and he was more clear. But I think it's the noise gate they had out there, bro.
Fix that compressor, bro.
Fix
You
your
need
noise
a little
gate,
bit more,
bruh.
A little bit more threshold on that.
Fix the
bitch.
threshold on that noise gate.
Oh my lord. No, good for Joe. He does. You can tell he likes the product. You can tell he's
Yeah.
a fan. I watched some of the interviews. I was in and out of Raw that day. But I did watch some of the interviews, and he looks like he likes the product. He looks like he's excited. I hope the internet is fair to him.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Well, no. So
I'm just
one
saying
show
for right
is
now.
not one show is not not a testament to not only Joe Tessitore's skill level as a WWE commentator, but also 1 week is not enough to see how the internet really feels. They're just reacting right now.
Oh, of course.
So it's fine. And I mean, like, everybody's so used to Michael Cole at this point. Everybody is so used to Pat McAfee at this point. Everyone is so used to Corey Graves. There's still people who clamor for people like Jim Ross to come back to WWE. Like,
Why?
There's these things, like, WWE has such legendary commentators under their belt that it is
Like
very
Kevin Patrick?
hard. No, but I saw a clip of him recently. I saw a clip where he was the commentator recently, and I was like, ugh.
Yo, thank God they
Brother,
decided. Thank God
Yeah,
they
brother,
realized.
I was like,
And
no.
you know what? That's the threshold that people were saying on Twitter. Like, hey,
He's not
hate
Kevin
Joe
Patrick.
Tessitore. You can
Yeah.
hate Joe Tessitore all you want, but at least we can agree he's not nearly as bad as Kevin Patrick.
Let him settle into it. Give him a few weeks. Let him
Yeah.
get a pay-per-view under his belt or a PLE. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yep.
Either he'll be fine or he'll be gone, guys. Like, these commentators, these sports guys, these ESPN guys who come in, they get 3 months sometimes and they're gone. Who was the fucking guy who came in?
Adnan.
That guy. Yeah, he
Yeah.
came in and he was out. He was gone.
Which I didn't think it was warranted. I didn't think that was warranted. I thought
But,
he was
like-
actually pretty good and it was going to get better, but
But, like,
it's
I mean,
not.
they have a plethora of commentary. Plus, they
Yeah.
have people in NXT. Plus, they have 2 veterans in NXT doing commentary right now. So, like,
Yo,
there's not
Vic
they
and
have-
Booker T's
they
energy
have a
is
rotation.
unmatched, bro.
They have a rotation, so
They
it's
do,
like
but I think
bringing in
they
the
need to
ESPN
keep
guy. is
To be fair,
not-
I think they need to keep Booker T on NXT.
Oh,
I do
absolutely.
too. They
Yeah.
know they
Booker-
need to keep him wherever Trick is.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
when
man.
Trick, so when
Where
Trick
Trick
moves,
goes,
man.
Booker
so
goes.
when Trick moves, unless Trick moves to Raw, then sorry Booker, there's just no room for you there.
Or we
What's
just
gonna-
we could just have Booker record ad libs over Trick's theme like that. I'd be down for that.
no,
What's
Pat's
going to
take
happen when
over.
we... Yeah, Pat's
Yeah,
gonna take
Pat's
over. What's
gonna
going to
take
happen
over.
when we somehow have Trick Williams versus Bad Bunny?
Where's
Who is
Pat-
Booker T going to root for?
Where's the match where we have Pat McAfee and Booker T on commentary together? Where's that match? 'Cause that
Never.
would just be
That would be-
ridiculous.
Fun.
That
It
would
would be so ridiculous.
They're both color commentators. That would not work.
Well, no. It'd be a 3-man. It'd be on like
Yeah,
a
you could-
pay-per-view.
you could have
It would
one-
be like a 3-man. It'd be a pay-per-view.
Well, would the
like
3-man
Michael Cole
be-
would be there. Michael Cole
Okay,
would be
I was
there.
gonna say, would it be Cole or Vic
settle
Joseph?
to settle things down.
No, I don't know, man. Vic Joseph. Here's another thing. Vic Joseph underrated
put
as
both of
fuck.
them. Put
He
both of
is.
them there.
Vic Joseph's great, yeah.
Vic
Give me
Joseph
4.
could be the next Michael Cole, and probably honestly, he's probably the next Corey Graves because Corey
he's
Graves
getting
is the
ready
next
to be the next
Michael
Corey
Cole.
Graves, yeah.
Like, give me all 4. I'll take all 4 of them.
The dynamic between Booker and Vic Joseph is just unmatched. Like the
What
way
you
they
have to
bust
do,
each other's
though-
balls is
Oh,
so
yeah.
funny.
What you have to do, though, is you have to have Pat McAfee and Booker T on opposite sides of the announce table.
Yes.
Just so they can constantly Booker and whoever's in the... Bicker. Words. And whoever's in the middle, like, as they're trying to do play-by-play, you can hear him just get progressively more and more annoyed with
Until-
McAfee and Booker just
Until
yapping
Jey
at
Uso
them.
comes out, then both of them are just up there yeeting.
They're yeeting all over themselves.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's what's
man.
going on. So we have this Punk feud going on.
We do.
Still.
Still.
Punk wants a world title match. I mean, duh. Drew kind of beats him up. Also kind of duh.
Yeah, so the interesting part was Drew recreated the spot that Punk did to Drew at Mania, where after Punk calls out Gunther for the title, he's standing on the announce table, like, you know, taunting to the crowd, playing to the crowd, whatever. And Drew just walks up, and the camera doesn't catch it because he's off screen, and sweeps the leg of Punk, knocks him down just like Punk did to Drew when he was on commentary at Mania. So that's kind of interesting. And then, you know, Wade Barrett gets up because now he's on Raw, remember, and he's friends with Drew McIntyre. We know that. And now that he's on Raw, he's able to get up and stop Drew, or attempt to, and Drew pushes past Wade and keeps going on beating on Punk. He takes the friendship bracelet, and he's about to put it. He's like, I want the bracelet. And he takes it. He's about to put it on, and he goes, psh, snaps it. The beads go flying. He catches a bunch of them in his hand. And listen, we talk about AEW getting extreme. WWE was going there this week. He shoved the beads in Punk's mouth and then claymored him. That's pretty wild. And then they had blood. Punk had blood somehow, because he was bleeding from the mouth after all of that, which
Punk's
is
starting to give me John Moxley syndrome. With
Oh,
his
God.
bleeding.
Yeah, but not as, like, ridiculous as John Moxley.
Like,
Punk's
why
not
did he
taking...
bleed in the Samoa Joe match?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
that's a
Gig
good point. He
too.
did.
Why?
why. I thought
Whatever.
they were gonna gig in Hangman and
Whatever.
Swerve, but they didn't.
Yeah,
so that was
whatever.
shocking. I just had to say
There's
that.
a level of aggression in that Punk McIntyre feud it's still boiling, but I feel like that should have subsided after their strap match. 'Cause a lot of the way this feud is moving reminds me of the MJF Punk feud.
Yep.
Where things kind of settled after the strap match was done. They were done with each other. Punk went on to do other things. Same idea, but now McIntyre's still involved in getting in Punk's business, and you're like, okay, but no, please, can we be done with this? Are we
Nope.
never done with this?
Not here.
No,
We not
because
here.
it has
We
to
go
end.
for forever.
It
And
has to go to one spot: Atlanta, Georgia. Bad
October
Blood
4th.
main event.
Nope.
Hell in a Cell.
main event. No.
Yes, every Bad Blood has main evented, has had the Hell in a Cell match, grudge match, be the main event. So it's going to be the main event.
Why do you know all the
Interesting.
grudge matches for Bad Blood?
That's the whole point of the pay-per-view. Bad
Never
Blood.
mind. All right.
It's a grudge match pay-per-view.
I got it.
So
Fucking
Punk
sports
McIntyre will main event
almanac.
Bad Blood in Hell in a Cell is my guess. Yeah, that's exactly what should happen. Loved it. I think that this segment lost me, and had me again in one segment, because I was like, Punk calling out Gunther. Not sure if I'm a big fan of that at the moment, because Punk versus Drew feels unfinished. And plus, what else we're not going to have this random feud be a potential main event for Bad Blood. Drew comes out, kicks him. All right, cool, great, love it. We're back with Drew. Drew says nothing, but I want the bracelet. And I'm like, fuck, really? Again? We're still based off this friendship bracelet. And then he snaps it. I was like, yeah, they got me back. Let's go. Yeah, that was great. That was great. That was the logical next step.
Look, we all knew it. We all knew it. Like it's all roads lead to bad blood, as per usual around here.
As per usual.
This is actually, it is very entertaining to know that wrestling fans are so dumb.
Yes.
Because we can go and enjoy things like Hangman burning Swerve's childhood house. And on the same side, we can enjoy McIntyre ripping up a $4 friendship bracelet for Punk. Like, it is incredible to see the range of pro wrestling. This is the range. We can go from murder to bracelets, and we like it all. So good for them. Good for them. Please stop after this. Please.
Punk also went from committing workplace violence to saying that he's the Taylor Swift for men. So
I love that. That's hilarious.
That was great.
That's
actually
what kind of arc are we
Low-key,
in?
That's a great line.
Once you start thinking about it, and
He's
for
kind of
wrestling
right.
fans, you're kind of
The
like,
sad thing is, once he said that, wrestling fans have started to wear friendship bracelets.
Dude, hell yeah. Screw it, okay?
God
Well,
damn.
like,
Dude,
people
I
have been
hate
doing that
us.
for a
It's
while
so
because, like,
dumb.
apparently Cody Rhodes has like a whole collection of friendship bracelets that like fans would give him.
yeah. There's a he wears.
There's a
them
whole
all the
video.
time.
Yeah, he wears a bunch of them too. Like, it's kind of cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cody's
I think
Wheatley American Vodka interview series,
You've-
podcast interview series, by the way, underrated. Go check
It's
it out on
great.
WWE's
That
YouTube.
stuff's great.
You
yeah.
see a bunch of wrestlers doing stuff like that. Like I believe
Ripley's doing that too,
I
yeah.
think Randy's worn some. I think Cena I think has worn some. Brian
Yep.
used to wear some kind of the Crusher gear on his wrist or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he's
That's right.
they wear some shit.
Oh,
So now Sami Zayn's also around in this world title
I'm
scene.
so
Yeah,
excited.
that.
I'm so
Run
excited.
it back. Run it back.
Here we go.
Run
It's
it back.
Sammy Hogan
Run
time.
it back. Nope.
Nah,
Not a chance in hell.
Sammy's
Good.
not.
Okay.
Sammy's
good,
not winning
good,
this.
good,
match.
good, good, good,
No,
good.
Sami
I was
Zayn.
really hoping Tyler was gonna go there, but thankfully no.
No,
Okay,
nah.
good. We're
No.
good.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Uh-oh. We
Sammy
should.
Hogan.
You got to do it as a Sammy accent.
Well,
And,
let me
like,
tell
the-
you something, brother.
Hey.
Yeah, he doesn't
I
really
don't think
say
I've
A.
ever heard him say "hey,"
Nah, he doesn't say A.
despite being Canadian. Yeah.
He is the only man that has
Tabernacle on
beaten
live
Gunther
TV,
for the
though.
Intercontinental Championship. That's exactly how he talks.
I am very excited for another Sammy Gunther match.
Agreed.
Except this time, I need Gunther to just like commit murder.
There is an interesting stat here on the sheet that we're all reading. That Sami Zayn is currently the only man in WWE to have beaten Gunther,
Correct.
which I believe does not include NXT UK.
That
Correct.
does not include NXT UK.
Good talk.
Correct.
No.
Because he did lose.
Yes.
To Ilya Dragunov, but we're
He
not
did
going to
lose.
talk
We're
about
We're
it.
not going to talk about that.
However,
We'll conveniently forget until we have to remember that.
However,
Exactly.
We'll be back.
I'm very surprised that they
See us at
decided
Rumble.
to. I'm very surprised that they decided to go with this right now at this moment. But I suppose at the same time, what else is Gunther gonna do?
I was gonna say Gunther kind of needs some heat on him. He needs some heat on him. Like not heat. Like Randy is a good match. Is a good opener.
Yes,
Um,
and obviously
but-
we needed
but
that
it's-
match after
but it's-
Triple H said it, and after
it's-
King of the
yeah,
Ring.
It's not the same though, right? Like especially as you're moving in the fall, like everybody's kind of entrenched in something, and we need something that will have some form of value. We can't just
Yeah.
give like another like a rematch to Randy. We can't give like there's really no one else. Like we couldn't give it to Bronson Reed. even though he's on
Rollins
the
is
come
written
up.
off TV.
Rollins is dead.
Priest
As they've-
and Jey Uso are
as
tied
they-
up.
As they've said, Rollins has been murdered.
Yep.
So like Sammy's your option, and that's fine. Cool.
Yeah.
Sammy is getting his match. KO had his match last week. Like we're fine.
Right. And I'm excited for this matchup. I think the concept of running back Sammy Gunther, but this time for the higher title. Again, I just want to say it now on the pod. I called this back in early July. And here we are in early September with it now happening.
I mean, it's not a hot take, but
I mean, we had no inkling of this of this happening anytime soon, and it's happening now. That's pretty cool. I'm a fan. I'm glad they're doing it.
Bronson and Braun are doing a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's-
after this whole big brawl that happened at the Raw in Providence that I got to see, but didn't see this brawl because it was outside, Braun Strowman rolls up this week, taped up, very much hurt. Bronson Reed has COVID, by the way. He was scheduled to be in a triple threat match with Ilya Dragunov, Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. I was thinking of the other triple threat. But because Bronson had been diagnosed with COVID, he had to be replaced in the match. They hadn't announced a replacement at the time. Bronson, hope you're doing well, man. Get well soon if you're still feeling unwell. But Braun Strowman walks up to Adam Pearce and is like, I'm really hurt, but I can go. And Adam Pearce is like, are you sure? Like, you're really struggling. He's like, I got it. The docs cleared me. If they said if I can compete and I want to compete, then I can compete. And he's like, so do you want to compete? And Braun's like, yep. So Braun took his spot, and Braun defeated Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way #1 Contenders match next week on the season premiere of Raw. The winner gets to face Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title. And those people in that match will be Jey Uso, Pete Dunne, Braun Strowman, and Ilya Dragunov. And I think what's going to happen, if Bronson is if Bronson is healthy again, he tests negative and is able to return to work, I think Bronson either costs Braun Strowman the matchup in that Fatal 4-Way, or he attacks Braun before the match and takes his spot and wins it. Because I think Bronson was the plan the whole time.
I'm cool with that. I mean, Bronson's on a murder spree right now, right? So... And it's, again, as we just said, it's been acknowledged on WWE camera that he's not just taking people out, he's killing them. Seth is dead right now in kayfabe.
No.
Seth is dead. So when Seth rises from the dead...
rises from the ashes.
Like the CrossFit
like the
Jesus that he is.
That he is.
Yeah.
I am a revolutionary. I am a visionary. I am Jesus fucking Christ.
Day one. Day one.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
I mean,
yeah. You're right.
Everything going with Bronson is like, it leads up to monster kills all. It sucks that he got COVID because this kind of derails a few things here and there, but I'm sure that when he comes back, they'll have a plan to make sure that everything's back to normal.
Yep. All roads lead to the IC title for him. There's no fucking way he doesn't hold his belt by the end of the year.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
Oh, he's not beating Braun Breaker though. He's not beating Braun Breaker.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not beating Braun Breaker.
Yes, he is.
I think he beats Braun, but not till next year. I think Braun holds it into like the Rumble probably.
I don't think he beats Braun Breaker right now. Not anytime soon.
I think depending on how hot he gets, that could be a switch. I mean, while I know Triple H is a fan of long title reigns, not everything's a story, bro.
I agree with you.
Keep it pushing.
I'd be down. I would be down. I'd be down for it.
Bronson Reed would be one of those things where I would say keep it pushing.
Here's another thing too.
He can lose it quick.
With Raw going to Netflix in January, we have two options. We could have a draft by the end of the year, or we can we need to move Cody to Raw before January, before Netflix. They're absolutely gonna want Cody. They're absolutely gonna want all the biggest stars. So they're gonna have to have a draft at some point. They're gonna want the Bloodline. They're gonna want Roman. They're gonna want all the big guys that are currently.
You can't put all that on Raw. You just can't.
Yes, you
do
can.
That.
Yes, you can.
Wait. Stop.
Yes,
now we're in a great conversation right here. You can't put all those people on Raw. SmackDown dies.
No, it does not.
SmackDown literally dies.
You put Damian on SmackDown.
Because let's see, if we're gonna talk big stars, right, for Raw, for Netflix, you're gonna talk Roman, you're gonna talk Cody, you're gonna talk the Bloodline, you're gonna talk Punk, Drew.
I don't know if Punk necessarily needs to go to Netflix, but Punk
is
could.
going to Netflix. Those restrictions, Punk's going to Netflix.
Drew could get away with USA, and I think Punk and Drew need to be split. So I think I could easily see Punk on Raw and Drew on SmackDown. I could see Damian Priest on SmackDown. I could see Rhea being a Raw or SmackDown either way.
I see her being on Raw.
I see her being on Raw as well, but I could see her being on SmackDown.
I think if you really take a draft seriously like that, you're gonna front load Raw way too fucking heavy.
I mean, 3-hour show versus a 2-hour show.
Raw's fine
better
right now.
Network.
They have no Cody or Bloodline.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I'm not talking about what works. I'm talking about what Netflix is gonna want. They're gonna want Cody, and they're gonna want
all the big names.
Thank you.
Are they though?
Yes.
Well, yes. Duh.
Think about Fox. Think about Fox.
Slow me down. Yes,
remember when Fox was a thing and Bray was doing the Fiend at the time, and Fiend was drafted to Raw, and they were like, nope, we want him on SmackDown, and they were like, oh, fucking okay, fine. So then they brought him to SmackDown.
Fair enough. I guess that's a fair point.
And they're getting more money from this Netflix deal than the Fox deal.
I guess
so they have to bend more to the knee of Netflix than they did for Fox even.
I don't see Netflix. I think Netflix sees the result of what's there more than what they think they want.
I hope so.
I would believe Netflix is somewhat smarter than Fox in that aspect. I would also believe that Netflix has a bit more disposable money.
Oh, Netflix is getting Cena as well, because let's not forget Cena's getting a 2025 retirement tour.
I know. I don't think they're gonna front load Raw as much as you might think they're gonna front load Raw. I think they may stay relatively untouched.
And Gunther's going to SmackDown.
I don't see that happening at all.
Yep. Gunther's going to SmackDown.
Netflix
don't give a shit if they get Gunther. If they get Roman, Cody, Cena, Punk, they don't give a fuck about Gunther if they're getting all those guys.
I don't know. I don't see.
And if
I don't see
Gunther's
Cody
still,
going.
and if Gunther is still champion, Cody is literally the flag bearer.
My thing is, it's like that. Like you literally make SmackDown pointless if you do all that.
I don't think so.
I don't like all those people that you're gonna send over there. If you're naming all the people that are on Raw right now, I don't want to watch SmackDown.
Low key,
I barely want to watch SmackDown right now. Anyway.
Low key, I've preferred Raw over SmackDown during the entire Fox era. But that's also because of the writing, and that's also because of Roman Reigns.
The post-COVID Fox era.
But I'm just saying, like, why can't we assume that Raw might just not be that good on Netflix if they want all the big guys? Like, we don't know until we watch it. I'm saying is
we don't know what we don't know.
All I'm saying is Netflix wants the biggest names. Yeah, I'm just saying Netflix wants the biggest names. Jey Uso might end up on SmackDown even as well, but I could see him on Raw definitely.
I don't see that either.
I'm just trying to think of who, given the current landscape. Sami Zayn could be on SmackDown at that point.
Maybe.
Yeah. Kevin Owens could be SmackDown at that point.
I think things aren't going to move as much as you think they're going to move for that Netflix deal.
I disagree.
I think what's going to happen is they're just going to be able to go wild, and they're going to be allowed to do what they want.
Maybe. What I think the more realistic thing that could happen is conveniently right when
There'll
Raw
be a
goes
couple
to
big moves, but not a ton.
Conveniently, when Raw goes to Netflix in January, that is the time of Road to WrestleMania where they say fuck the brand split anyway. So maybe they'll just say anybody's welcome wherever for that time period, and then do the usual draft after WrestleMania, and then they send Roman Reigns and the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes and everybody to Raw
and kill SmackDown.
Yes.
I still don't see how any other way that doesn't kill SmackDown. SmackDown's already barely watchable.
SmackDown is actually not barely watchable anymore. They've actually been cooking last couple of weeks. They've been cooking.
Well, before this though,
yes.
Before we go to SmackDown, Priest got some help from a friend.
Yeah.
Rhea got to,
Rhea called her man.
Jey Uso is winning in life.
Rhea called her new man. Yeah.
Jey called her. Rhea called her new man's.
Yep.
And we yeeted all over the place, and we had some wepa. And
we had some wepa.
The squad is back together. I love Damian and Jay together. I love Rhea fucking with Jay. I love that. I love that even if she doesn't want to do anything with him, she's just messing with him, and it's so fun.
As someone who has seen multiple dark segments from live shows that I've been to and shows that I've been like, they release video on the internet of Jay and Damian just like interacting after the shows.
They
have good chemistry.
They're so fun. You can tell they hang out.
God, and they're the next World Tag Team Champions, right? Like they have to be.
No.
They have to be.
Slow it down.
No, they have to be.
I understand why, because of the feud, blah blah blah, and they also beat the champions.
It ain't the New Day.
And the New Judgment Day, looking like dopes, the schmucks, right?
Yes.
Tyler? The schmucks.
They're looking like schmucks. They're looking like dopes.
The schmucks. So
it's so annoying. Why would you make a new heel faction just to make them look like idiots?
Well, technically, they're the same heel faction.
They're new because they kicked out people, but yes,
they're new because they changed their logo.
But like they kicked out people. You should make them look smart by kicking out these new people, not making them look like, oh, they shouldn't have kicked out those people. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make any sense. Finn, I want Finn to beat Damian.
Who got pinned?
As much as I love Damian, I want Finn to beat Damian.
Who's pinned?
I'm assuming it was
JD.
I'm assuming it was JD. I don't remember, but I'm assuming it was JD.
So we're looking at what? Nothing probably for Bad Blood with these two. Nothing. We just don't have room. I would argue.
I mean, we're gonna get what? We're gonna get Sammy Gunther. We're gonna get Cody and KO probably. We're gonna get Punk and McIntyre Hell in a Cell. We're probably gonna get Breaker and Bronson if Bronson's healthy, unless they just do it on a Raw. But I don't think they do. Women's title, we're gonna get Rhea and Liv. That's the match. That's the match out of this feud.
So in other words,
5 matches. That's Triple H's golden number
right now.
Yeah, that's the Triple H golden number of 5 matches.
All right, so we'll push this a little bit. I mean, Survivor Series is after Bad Blood, so
War Games.
Well, we don't know yet.
Nah, it's not gonna happen.
They haven't said.
War Games is reserved for the Bloodline.
Well, Judgment Day was in one.
Yes, but I'm trying to think. Last year when they did the one in Chicago, there was only one War Games match, was there not, or were there 2?
I think there were one.
because the one I went, because before, the 2 years ago, there was the women's one with Damage Control, and there was the one with the Bloodline against British Invasion with
We don't know.
KO.
Yeah, it's true. We don't know. They haven't actually said that it's Bloodline or that it's a War Games.
Well, it
Survivor
probably will
Series
be
yet.
though.
It's a fair assumption, but in order to not keep repetition, WWE may not.
Yeah.
So there's that. But let's move on to SmackDown, y'all, because there's.
I just want to interject to correct myself. There were, in fact, two
War
Games
year.
matches last year, so there
Yeah,
could be
were.
two
Women's
this year.
open, men's closed.
But question is, who would join Damian and Rhea and Jay on the face side? I don't really want to get into that right now, but that would be a thing to answer. Okay.
Not
SmackDown?
Sammy. Tell you that.
Sammy.
Not Sammy.
Not Sammy. He's busy in the other one.
Yeah.
So SmackDown was interesting.
Cody.
It was a show.
Cody is still fighting the Bloodline. Still.
Yeah.
This is a lot. This is a lot.
Solo made his shot his shot and said the winner of Cody and KO at Bash in Berlin, I got next, and everyone is like, why?
You already lost, though.
So they open up SmackDown. Cody's like, I know I'm going to get interrupted. I know how this works. So I'm going to invite Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. Why did that sound just like Cody Rhodes? And anyway, they come out, and Nick Aldis comes out. He continues to be the more competent GM, and realizes that the Bloodline are full of unhinged animals who don't listen to rules and don't stay out of business and out of matches. So Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa will be in a steel cage match for the WWE title on the season premiere of SmackDown.
He's not that smart
On USA.
because we've had these problems for the last 4 years, right? And he's been there for at least the last 2.5.
Yeah, but he knows how to keep it more at bay than Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce can't even keep one guy held back by a bunch of security.
That's the best part of Raw is that Adam Pearce.
Yeah,
sucks.
Adam Pearce is like, what do I do?
best part
Oh
of Raw.
no.
One minor
He looks
inconvenience.
he looks so stressed all the time.
He's
and Nick
also-
Aldis is just chilling.
He's also such an alcoholic. Like right after any minor inconvenience, Adam Pearce is like, oh, I need a drink. Like, dude.
We love Adam Pearce.
We do.
love Adam Pearce.
We love Adam Pearce.
So Cody, to finish up the explanation, Cody threw the challenge down for Jacob Fatu, which
First and foremost.
big
No.
pop.
He was like, Solo, I'm not going for you. I'm not looking at you. And
I
he
ain't worried
just
about you.
steps to the side and goes,
But you,
Jacob
No.
Fatu, right
on the
there.
other hand,
You big hulking man who won't close
Scary
his
Samoan
intrigue
man.
me.
You big
Yeah.
scary Samoan man who for some reason doesn't know how to close his mouth.
you intrigue
Yeah,
me,
it is
though.
true. Like,
His mouth is always like this, and I don't understand why.
Weird.
Obviously,
Yeah.
we're not doing none of that shit though. We don't get things we want.
Because I
No.
love you, Solo. I just got all the impressions today.
boo.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's be honest.
We knew it was
Fatu's not
happening.
going anywhere near that. It's fine. Steel Cage though is interesting. There are big talks. This is of course next week the season premiere of SmackDown on USA. There are big conversations about this show
Yes.
because
Yeah.
while Netflix is still 4 months away, we have to keep some form of momentum, and this is a huge show for them.
Yep.
I'm assuming a Raw in a couple months will be this kind of similar,
If not bigger.
If not, yeah.
The rumor currently is Cena is around. The conversation is that The Rock is around. The
They want
conversation
both.
is that Roman is around. I'm
Roman's
assuming
been announced for SmackDown.
I'm assuming everybody is going to be around on this show from Raw because it's a big deal. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's a big
assuming
deal,
there'll be
so-
some
Maybe.
there'll be
That's a
some
potential.
Yeah.
there may be
I
some
think-
potential. I think there's some big bloodline shit.
Potential for Punk to show up, I think.
Imagine.
I'm sticking to this part of the story.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I
think
get
Punk
you, I
would
get you.
interject in this.
Well,
but
no,
I-
I'm just
I
saying,
do
like,
think
in
that-
generally, yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, Roman, I believe, has been confirmed to be on SmackDown this week.
Like,
So
they
expect-
announced, like, WWE announced it, or Dirt Sheets reporting it? Just curious.
I think it was Dirt Sheets, but I've been hearing that he's been announced for
Gotcha.
SmackDown. If we can get a check on that, just so
Yeah.
I know I'm not crazy.
Sorry, what's the check? I
But-
got you.
Yeah.
If
Whether or
Roman's
not
on
Roman's been
SmackDown.
announced for SmackDown, because I've been hearing that he is, but I don't know if that's 100% like there or not. So while we're getting that done, I just want to talk about this. Are we
Confirmed.
good? Is that a confirm? Okay. So I brought this up in our group chat, but Roman being confirmed for SmackDown, meaning he's more than likely once again getting involved in this title match, right? And he's getting involved in this title match not for the sake of Cody, but for the sake of kicking Solo's ass, because he has been kind of made to look like a chump
Because of Jacob Fatu.
Because of Jake. Well, good.
Yes.
But that's fine. That's the only justifiable part is because Jacob Fatu.
Right.
But then when Solo like stands over him and God, the shot of Solo this week or this past week on SmackDown wearing his like all black with the red and he's got the Ulafala on. Bro, I'm sticking to calling him the weekday. This man just looks like a budget ass weekend cosplayer at this point. And like the outfit doesn't scream anything serious. He just doesn't scream anything serious to me. Like Roman, when he comes back on Friday, I genuinely need him to like spear Solo through a cage.
Man, I gotta say though, I love what Solo's doing though. Personally, I think I'm starting to like more and more what Solo's doing. I know it's not the aura of the bloodline, and that's exactly the point. What I'm waiting for now, I see Solo is doing good character work. He's doing good in-ring work. What I want to see now is I want to see Solo in a character where it's actually him and not just Roman Reigns cosplayer, because that's how this character feels right now. And when he's finally himself, an independent self, I want to see where they go with it. Yeah, man, I'm intrigued.
Very intrigued. I mean, we're starting to push towards the Survivor Series match for Roman and the rest of the squad. So I wouldn't be surprised if this next week there was some big moves being made. Hence Roman, hence Rock, hence.
I could see Jimmy Uso come back. Even I could see
Jimmy Uso come back as a possibility. Yeah,
I could see Bloodline Rules-esque endgame style cameos up the wazoo for this match, like Rock, Cena, Jimmy, Roman. Like I could see it all.
Gotta keep it interesting.
Gotta keep it interesting.
Also, allegedly the Fist is coming. Allegedly.
Allegedly, they have announced a new logo as well.
I didn't see that.
The Fist coming. Owen said it in the chat. That was a parody account. That was not a legit account, legit source. So the Fist may not be coming back. But the new logo is very similar to. It's very similar to the current logo, but it's got a little like a bend to it, and it looks a little more like cartoony to me.
Okay, cool.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Logo.
I don't know how I feel about it. It looks more like the Raw logo, because you know how the Raw logo is kind of like a diamond. It looks kind of like that, but with the SmackDown logo. It's got a curve to it. I don't mind it. Okay, I want to take the lead on this next segment because I absolutely fucking loved this segment. Giovanni Vinci makes his long-awaited debut on Friday Night SmackDown.
Awaited?
And yes. Huh? And he loses in 4 seconds. So, on the surface, you're probably like, why the fuck? This feels like a Vince thing, right?
Wrong. Oh, this is a Triple H thing.
Wrong. Here's why. This gimmick is all about Giovanni Vinci being the beauty guy, right? Like he's gorgeous, he's rich, he's got all these cool jumpsuits and cool cars, and ladies love him. He came out to the ring and they had a plant at ringside kiss him on the cheek in the audience. Like, it's great. That's great character work. And he gets in the ring and the ref's like, yo, first off, that ref needs to be fired. They need to wait till both guys are ready. And Giovanni Vinci was not ready. He was too busy trying to ham it up for the crowd, slowly unzip his hoodie he had on. He was slowly going to rip off the Cesaro style pants. I sure hope that I sure hope they were terrible pants, because that's pretty fucking sweet. And before he could take all of his clothes off, the ref rang the bell and Apollo rolled him up for the win. This is gonna turn into a story. Here's the thing. What happens if he goes in there and he handily beats Apollo Crews? What is there to look forward to after that? Exactly. So now that he lost, we can now see, is he going to be more focused next week? Is he going to be just as idiotic next week? Is he going to try to attack Apollo Crews and get a leg up on him? Is he this is going to turn into a feud, and Vinci's going to get the win, and all is right with the world. I'm a big fan of Giovanni Vinci right now. I really hope that this is not just a joke. I'm a little worried that it is, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic and say I fucking loved it. And it goes to my theory and my belief that not everybody needs to win a fucking debut. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, nah. That's really it. Eh?
Well done.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. What's
KO,
next?
KO, and A-Town Down Under are still playing with each other.
Pause. Well, I mean, he's got to do something while Cody's in this detour with Solo, right? You know what I mean?
I guess there's a mystery partner. Notes say Randy Orton.
It's
It could
gonna
be
be Randy
Orton.
Orton.
It could
It's
be
gotta
anybody.
be.
It could probably be Orton. I could really care less.
Unless it's Sammy, because it is the big USA thing, and they just have a one-off KO Sammy reunion for that.
That would be fun.
That would be fun, but it's gonna be Randy.
And then Carmelo Hayes and Andrade are going for LA night, which is fantastic because
Yeah.
they've been in a best of 20 for like 6 weeks.
It's been a best of 7.
Either way.
I think they're tied up right now. I could be wrong. Or Andrade leads 3-2. I
Is
forget
it
how
an
it is.
actual-
The goal here is to not put them in a tag team this time, though. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Correct.
Just
Yeah.
leave
Correct.
it alone. Just
Please.
let it leave.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
You're good. Don't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, this match, both the prospect of Mello versus Knight 1-on-1, because first Mello was kind of a joke at first since coming to SmackDown. He's kind of losing to LA Knight a lot. He was looking like an idiot. He was Freudian slipping and saying the wrong name, and then LA Knight made him look like an idiot for it. If I had to fight myself, yeah. And then Andrade, being like Andrade and LA Knight, it's a little weird, face versus face, a little odd. Andrade has had yet to connect with the crowd, but this best of 7 series did 2 things. It made Carmelo look serious, and it made Andrade connect with the audience. And not because Andrade is a character. It's because Andrade is a damn good fucking in-ring worker, which is exactly what people like Ricochet should have been doing this entire time.
He was.
He was. Well, not as much in WWE as he will be in AEW. Because we're
Really?
already...
Because he already looked pretty bad.
Who? Ricochet?
Yeah, you didn't see the one botch?
No, he botched?
Yeah, it looked bad. It was bad.
Oh, no.
The
Oh,
best
no.
forget to wrestle.
Oh God! Oh God! Don't say that. Don't get them hating on our podcast now.
No.
Nah, but the prospect of LA Knight Andrade, the prospect of LA Knight Carmelo, the prospect of a triple threat, like we're booked and busy with LA Knight for a while, and LA Knight's gonna retain because he's gonna drop it to a heel Kevin Owens down the line. That's my prediction. Calling it now. Corner pocket.
I don't have enough stake to argue that one.
Neither do I.
But I'm excited for them.
God, I love this week, y'all. I'm just steamrolling y'all with my takes this week. Usually, you guys have some pushback. Come on. What's going
I don't
on?
know if it's
I am
steamrolling or we
it's-
just
I-
haven't had time to keep up with everything.
Okay,
I don't know
fair
about
enough.
that one.
Fair enough.
Like
fair enough.
man's been busy being a teacher, and this man's been busy in the woods for a week and still hasn't figured out reality. So we're like
This
getting back
man's
into it.
This man's busy figuring out his life too, so I feel that.
True.
But wrestling
Yeah,
has been
we're
my
there.
escape. Wrestling has been my
It's a
escape.
good escape, but also football's here, so we have another escape.
Football is
well,
here.
except Tyler.
Yeah, wrestling's always my escape.
A triple threat is nice. It opens up the door for Carmelo and Andrade to work with somebody else. First off,
Yep.
It opens the door for LA Knight to work with more people. Triple threats are fun. I don't hate the concept of this. I don't really think there needs to be anything more than just, hey, this is what's happening, and everybody goes, cool, good talk. And LA Knight will maybe throw a few jabs. Maybe there'll be a fucking one mic segment. I don't really want to hear these two on the mic. I don't want to hear Andrade on the mic. I'll listen to Carmelo talk.
So there was an in-ring promo segment, and that's why that's why I talked about this. But yes, it's not ideal. It's not ideal.
It's
I'm
fine,
a little.
though. Not everything needs to have a big
I'm scared for
mic
Carmelo to
segment.
be on the mic now because in NXT he was a lot stronger, and in the main roster I think he almost got a little shell shocked by the lights. He got a little scared.
He does.
Got a
He
little
does
stage fright.
feel weird. He doesn't quite have that same swagger that he had.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That we saw
Yeah.
literally 6 months ago at fucking Philly Takeover. Like,
But I think it's also partly because they have no choice but to consistently pair him up with LA Knight, who runs circles around him promo wise.
I mean, that's just not.
You
I
know?
think that it's not that
That's
it's-
not his fault.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
not.
his fault. But also, I think the hope is that working with Knight will help Carmelo get out of that stage fright, help him elevate him a little more.
If you want someone to teach you how to have good mic skills, that's
LA
the
Knight's
guy.
the guy,
That's one of the
yeah.
guys to do
Look
it.
no further, yeah. Look
Yeah.
no further.
Especially being quick like that. Like that's
Yeah,
him.
and I think them having a triple threat will be fun. They're all very different wrestlers. So it'll be nice to sort of see how everything matches up. And even with with promos, I think this is where Carmelo can get his chance to get out of his stage fright a little bit and get out of his shell shock. Because it's going to be, him and LA Knight just going toe to toe on promos. Andrade is going to be there in a corner, probably like taking a nap in the ring or something. I don't know, but
tranquilo.
The thing is, like, a triple threat's kind of the only way you go.
Like that.
LIJ, baby.
That's right.
I think the thing is, a triple threat is the right way to go and the safest way to go. It doesn't really hurt any other guy involved.
Except Andrade.
Except maybe Andrade.
He's going to eat the pin.
Probably. And, like, it'll help boost up Carmelo a lot more. Like, he's been having this great series with Andrade and then having a triple threat with LA Knight, which will more than likely lead to a one-on-one with LA Knight later this year. Probably, at some point. I think it'll be really good for his development. The U.S. title is kind of not a bore right now, and that's not LA Knight's fault. It's just that, like, who's on SmackDown? Besides, like, those three.
And Tyler wants to kill it.
Kevin Owens! I don't want to kill it. I don't want to kill it.
I don't know if Kevin Owens would go back to the mid-card spot.
Why not? LA Knight competed for the WWE title, and then he dropped down to the U.S. title.
Not the same.
Happens. Oh, interesting.
We should put it on Grayson Waller.
We're playing favorites on that
I
one.
thought about Grayson Waller.
I'm playing
Grayson
favorites.
Waller would be a fun pick if he splits up from Theory.
and
Finally,
honestly,
When is that happening? What is going on?
Yeah, we have
That should have
So
happened 3 months
that
ago.
they,
right?
they've
the
been kind
interesting
of
thing-
a while ago, right?
they were kind of boiling towards it on
They
SmackDown
have
this
been.
week. Yeah,
And this week, they faced KO in a triple threat. It was Theory versus Waller versus KO, but they continued to work together, and then KO just beat them.
yeah.
But Theory's starting to be
know
more...
his worth.
Yeah, he's starting to. I think next week could be the time for the
However,
Fox.
Theory as a babyface doesn't intrigue me.
It intrigues me a little bit.
But why?
intrigues me a
He's
little
a
bit.
I'd rather
douchebag.
Grayson be the babyface than that.
I'd rather neither
No,
be the babyface.
Grayson
Really?
Grayson
I'd
is
rather
way
neither
too
than
good
be.
of a
He's
heel.
too good of a heel. I know he's too good of a heel.
Theory
but like, who
isn't-
do you?
Theory's not as great of a heel, but
Anymore.
he wasn't a good heel to begin with. Let's be
That's
real.
not true.
He was not. He wasn't.
Vince leaving really fucked him.
He wasn't even that good at that time, though. Like, I'm willing to say that. Like, he wasn't even that good at that time. When he won the Money in the Bank, I was like, I wasn't like, oh yeah, he deserves it. I was like, okay, let's see where they go with it, and then it went to shit. So like, and maybe the regime change is the reason, but also with Roman Reigns as your only champion at the time, what else was he gonna fucking do?
Well, Money in the Bank may not have been the smartest move in general with Roman
Well,
being the title holder.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like,
Everybody was gonna get fucked out of that one.
I think the Theory can be a good babyface. I just think that we haven't seen enough of him to make that, to see that. I think that we could see that in the future.
He's a cool dude though, so
Yeah.
I from what I've heard, so like if it's just gonna be him, that's cool.
He's a very nice guy, is what I've heard from
Yeah,
the
I've
wrestling
heard
community.
he's a
And
sweetheart.
when it comes to meet and greets and stuff, he's super nice. Yeah.
But
Atlanta
I don't
guy
know.
too, so maybe he gets the match with Grayson at Bad Blood.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah, maybe.
we're not too late for that. That shit's in like a month.
Yeah, it's sooner rather
what
than
a
later.
concept.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
right.
Pay-per-views with like 8 weeks of fucking build.
Yeah.
Sorry, more like
Well,
4.
yeah,
4 and a
4.
half.
Unlike
If we count
AEW.
Bash and Bash.
Unlike AEW with 2 weeks build.
They don't do the back to back every pay per view. They do the
Yeah.
That's like
No.
a special thing because now there's not a
Yeah.
pay per view for them till like November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Exactly.
Full Gear next?
Full Gear is wait.
I think. Or
Do they have
is it
anything else?
When's Dynasty normally?
Dynasty
Dynasty
already
was
happened.
beginning
That
of
was
the year.
April.
Dynasty happened
Okay.
already.
Let me check. Let me check.
Wrestle Dream, I think Wrestle Dream's next.
Yeah.
Is that an AEW pay per view really?
It is
It
an
is.
AEW pay-per-view, yeah.
Oh, I
It
thought that
is.
was like some weird combo thing.
Wrestle
No,
Dream
it's a
is in
sanctioned
October.
AEW pay-per-view.
Wrestle Dream's in October, Full Gear
Full
in
Gear's in
November, and then
November,
World's
and
End at
then
the end of
World's End.
December.
Yeah.
World's End
World's
used to
End
be a
is
Ring of Honor
where-
thing.
Yeah. World's End is where the Continental Classic is going to be ending.
And then Wrestle Dynasty in January.
Yeah, they're bringing that one back because it was their first year doing it this year. But
Are they monthly now?
I
I
guess
liked when
they are.
AEW wasn't monthly.
yeah.
So they had a pay-per-view in March, April, May, June, August, September, October, November, December. Yep.
Okay,
more or less monthly. Yeah.
More or less.
more or less.
Oh.
That
Okay.
double trouble in August September is rough.
Yeah.
Rough move, but I
Yeah.
get
It
it.
is.
They could have waited till Full Gear. It's fine.
They could have.
Yep.
But yeah, full. I almost said Full Blood. Full Blood. That's not a show. Bad Blood.
That sounds great though.
That sounds great.
Full Blood.
Full Blood. the John Moxley special.
Yeah.
Lol.
Yeah, Bad Blood being still a month away is nice.
Yeah, we got
because
time.
yeah, we got time. We can let things simmer, so.
And we can cook things on different weeks.
Exactly.
Like personally, whatever Cody's doing at Bad Blood, I really don't need to see next week. I don't need to see in 2 weeks. He could wait another week.
It's going to be the rematch with Cody and KO is my guess.
I hope not.
I think
Cody's been
so.
doing these nice one-offs, and it's AJ,
I would like to see
AJ
KO
got two.
turn on
Never mind.
Cody in Bad Blood in Atlanta, which is technically Cody's home state.
It's almost his hometown.
Yeah,
like-
Marietta.
It
Isn't he
is.
Marietta?
Yeah, he's from Marietta.
Marietta. It's like what, an hour or so away.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
So it's basically his home arena. But at the again, I think it would be really cool and a good way to get KO's heel character over if they turn him heel, to have him turn on Cody after he loses to him in his hometown.
Let's turn
Yeah.
Cody heel.
No.
Cody Lander.
Let's
Not
do that
happening.
later.
He makes too much money. I doubt he's.
Lander.
I don't know if he's ever
Heel
gonna turn
Cody
heel.
could make a lot of money.
Cody Lander is money.
Codelander is absolutely money.
He's got to lose the title to the final boss. So, yeah.
Jacob Fatu?
No. The
the
final
other one.
boss, Mama Rhodes. I can't just gimmick infringe Santi's app, but it's too fun.
I
It's
don't
too
know how
funny
I-
to not.
I mean, I think we've got a long way to go before we get heel Cody. But at the same time,
Mm.
like, maybe have
We can
him and
speed it
Jacob.
up.
Yeah, maybe have him
we
and
can
Jacob
speed
at
it
Bad
up.
Blood, or like save that for later this year. I don't know when, but
Low key, if we do Cody Rock at Mania, because at this rate we might, I think we might get Roman and Jacob Fatu at 41.
That is not the moves.
That is the move.
That is not.
If that is the move that they want to do, that is the
not
move.
I
moves.
love that. I love that you have Rock, Roman, and Jacob Fatu involved, and not the current guy leading the bloodline, because he is just not it.
Well, Solo's gonna
Guys,
something.
Guys,
Maybe-
He'll be in the
Rock and
mid-card
Roman next
scene,
year.
yeah.
Guys, it's Rock and Roman next year. Settle down. Everybody settle down.
Maybe 42.
Everybody settle down. No.
Vegas, I feel like it might. I
It's
feel
Rock
like
and Roman.
it's gonna be Rock Roman.
So when
It's
do we
Rock
get
and
Rock
Roman.
Cody? Because that's definitely happening. If it's not Mania,
The
When?
Rumble.
Rumble.
yawn.
Rock has a history of ruining our dreams at the Rumble.
He does.
Yeah,
All of our hopes and dreams. and
All of our
name
hopes
names
and dreams for
with The
10 years
Undertaker.
literally was gone.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I think it. What if? No, it's got to be Mania, dude. Because Netflix Day One Raw on Netflix is absolutely gonna be The Rock comes out and
I challenge
calls a shot.
fucking Cody Rhodes.
and The Rock is winning.
so many
the,
F words are gonna be dropped.
either The Rock or Punk wins the Royal Rumble. I think they're the final two, and I think Punk wins the Rumble.
I love the irony in that.
The irony is
So
incredible.
here's the
love
thing.
that irony.
Here's what we do.
That's
let me
awesome.
let me
That
cook,
was your
gentlemen.
best booking move you've ever done.
Let me cook, gentlemen. Thank you. So, I've already said before, Punk wins the Rumble next year. Seth beats Gunther at some point down the line and wins the World Heavyweight title. And then we get Punk winning the Rumble. So we get Punk, Seth. We're back to our scheduled programming that we were supposed to get this year at 40. So we have Punk, Seth main eventing night one for the World Heavyweight title. The final two in this Royal Rumble, Rock and Punk. And Punk goes over The Rock. Punk finally gets his catharsis of going over The Rock. And then The Rock... and then The Rock somehow... The Rock somehow gets a title match with Cody. I don't know if he has to go
Anyway.
through Chamber or he just says, Cody, I'm fighting you.
I am the boss.
No,
I literally have shareholds in this company. I can do what I
No,
want.
literally. I lost the Rumble, but I don't give a shit because I am not only your boss, but I'm the final boss. And then he gets the match with Cody.
And fuck your story.
And who knows? Maybe Roman helps Cody beat Rock.
No, I don't see that either.
I'm just saying.
I
that's
hope,
speculation.
I hope these guys, these two, because it's very nerve-wracking when they're on the same show, involved with the same people. It's very nerve-wracking because I want them to just be like two ships in the night. Just
You mean Roman Cody? I agree.
yes. Just
Maybe we keep Bloodline on SmackDown and Roman,
was-
and maybe we keep Bloodline and Roman on SmackDown and move Cody to Raw. I
like
could be down for that too.
This stare at SummerSlam was enough for me.
I like that too. I agree with that.
Leave it.
I would love
leave
that.
it.
I would
Visit it maybe in like 2 years.
No, honestly, I would be down to revisit as Roman's last match, potentially
just
full
let's-
time or
yeah.
potentially just in general. Cody Roman.
just in the night. Just
Cody Roman to me is like the Cena Orton, the Rock Stone Cold. You know, like the
except
quintessential
hopefully
rivals.
they won't touch as much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pause.
Also,
But yeah.
pause.
That's I think that's our show this week, gentlemen. What do you guys think?
Having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm also having a good time.
I want to talk about something not wrestling related.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar is doing the Super Bowl show.
I mean, that sounds like a good time.
That's gonna be such a good
Not
time.
Like Us
Oh,
is gonna go crazy.
to a billion people,
Bro,
watching
you know
around
that
the world.
you know that it's gonna become political, right? I'm just like I hate to be that guy, but as the political guy here, you know it's gonna be it's gonna become political in some way, at least in the States, right? And it's gonna be
What do you
annoying.
mean?
People are gonna say things like, "It's not as good as other things." Kendrick's probably
I
gonna
don't
make
care.
some kind of social
Who cares?
declaration in the set. I mean, I'm gonna be
Who
supportive of
cares?
it because
The
I know
Super Bowl-
I'm with it. I'm rolling,
At the
but
end of the
There's a
day, the
social
Super Bowl
declaration every year
halftime
at this
show.
point.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the
Except
Super
for
Bowl
Rihanna.
halftime show is a platform for artists to
Yes.
kind of get away with doing whatever the hell they want. Like, look, remember when The Weeknd did his Super Bowl halftime show? His was basically a fuck you to the Grammys.
Yep.
Because he didn't get nominated and apparently funded the whole thing by himself.
Correct.
Like, yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm excited for the performance. I'm just stating what I'm expecting to happen with it, you know?
I mean, it'll still be fun regardless. That's the point, right?
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, politics aside, it's supposed to be like a fun time, and I think who better right now than to get Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, I think and also like the past few years I feel like there's been a bad rep around the halftime show about the performances being mid. I don't think you get a mid performance out of Kendrick Lamar.
No.
Not at all.
If he's got, to tie this into wrestling, if he's got full creative control over what he's going to do for the show,
He's got the pen.
if he's got the pen, we're going to have a good time.
That's right. Oh man.
Cool.
Well,
Are we doing a best in wrestling? What are we?
that was my next move. My best in
Oh.
wrestling. If you guys couldn't guess, my best in wrestling this week is Giovanni Vinci. I love the way that they are handling it and going a different direction with a new act. And I think this is the start of winning not being a guarantee on debuts. And not only that, because they've had people lose in their debut and it ends up being a joke. This is the beginning of losing in your debut, but still being a serious competitor down the line and telling meaningful stories.
Yeah. I mean, that's funny in its own cruel way, but yeah. Best in wrestling. I think mine. I think it has to go to the back half of All Out in general, because like, what a way to go from All In being like happy celebratory ending, Brian Danielson with his family, the confetti, everyone around him hugging, hooray, he did it, he did the thing, to then just violent murder.
Gotta say, AEW's mine too. That the needle spot and the bag spot are insane work.
Yeah.
Insane work.
They're really pushing a lot of buttons there.
Yeah, and
Insane work.
Yeah.
Trigger
pushing
warning,
the-
please, on
pushing-
their content.
pushing the boundaries. They're soon going to need a content warning before their
For real.
shows.
Oh
For
yeah.
real.
Oh yeah.
For real.
Yeah. Well, that was our show this week, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, on podcasts, wherever you get them. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever, if that's even a thing. I don't think Stitcher's even around anymore. One of the podcast places is gone. TikTok, Vacant Wrestling on TikTok. Twitter, Vacant Wrestling. We are on Twitter as well. Go follow us there. We had to shorten the at, but just type Vacant Wrestling. You'll find us. And Instagram as well. We post reels every once in a while. I've kind of stopped doing it because it's been very not so great performance-wise. Maybe once we build up more of a base, I'll start posting more on Instagram again, but we'll see what happens. But regardless, really appreciate it, y'all. Go support us however you can. Leave a like and comment on this video if you're watching on YouTube as well. And yeah, y'all take it easy. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bear down, bitch.
No.